What's up, everybody? Back with another Honkai Star Rail video. In this video, we're going to talk about should you summon for Kafka. Now, unfortunately for most people, this is probably not going to be the best character to summon on. However, she is also probably the most popular character in Star Rail, as she's the first character you play as. Everybody is like, oh, Mommy Kafka, goes crazy, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we hit top grossing with Kafka, because I can't think of any other game that has anything hype enough right now that would normally get top grossing. Besides like the generic or apps that always are just floating around the top, I think we're good to go. But regardless of that, should you actually summon for her is a good question. Now, before we get into anything with her kit, I will say if you do not have DOT characters built, Kafka is probably not going to be nearly anywhere as good as you want her to be. She is based around DOT characters, so do keep that in mind going forward. So, Kafka, boom. Let's see what she does. So, she is a lightning nihility character. Nihility is all about debuffing and DOT, and she is on the DOT side of that. So, first skill, basic, lightning damage, boom, yada bing, yada boom. Basic stuff, right? Then her skill deals lightning damage equal to 80% of attack to a target enemy, and lightning damage equal to 30% of Kafka's attack to enemies adjacent to it. Pretty much, it's the one where you target someone, and then the character on the left and right will also get hit. You can manipulate this to where if you target the far left, it'll only hit the person on the right, not, two over, As a target enemy is currently receiving DOT, all DOT is currently placed on that enemy immediately produce damage equal to 60% of their original damage. You can see she's just DOT based, and then her ultimate deals lightning damage equal to 48% of Kafka's attack. All right, this is at level 1. Do keep that in mind, it does go up. With a 100% base chance for enemies hit to become shocked and immediately take damage equal to 80% of the DOT. Like I said, it goes up. Shock lasts for 2 turns. While shocked, enemy receive lightning damage DOT equal to of Kafka's attack at the beginning of each turn. Pretty solid stuff. Pretty much, the more DOT you have on them, the more damage she'll do with her skill and ultimate. Then her talent, after an ally of Kafka's uses the base attack on the enemy target, Kafka immediately launches one follow-up attack, deals lightning damage equal to, and then, 42, max is 189, goes up. But of course, this is with dupes. With 100% base chance to inflict shock, equivalent to that applied by her ultimate to the attacked enemy target for 2 turns. It's pretty much just getting your ultimate effect proc on her follow-up attack. Their technique immediately attacks all enemies within a set range. After entering the battle, deals lightning damage with 100% base chance to inflict shock. You get the gist, shock pretty much on everything Kafka does, right? Now on to her traces. Her first trace, if an enemy is defeated while shocked, Kafka gains 5 energy. Torture, when the ultimate used, enemy targets will now receive damage immediately from all currently applied DOT sources instead of just receiving damage immediately from the currently applied shock state. This is nice because this used to be a dupe, I think like E2, I believe, when leaks were coming out. So, big W. And then, base chance for ultimate technique or the follow-up attack triggered by the talent to inflict shock increases by 30%. Pretty much just, if the enemy has a lot of effect res or this lightning stuff, boom, Torrents helps it out. And then she has the basic effect hit rate, attack up, and then some HP traces, which are nice because she pretty much just wants attack and effect hit rate to make sure her DOTs go off. And then dupes. First dupe is when the talent triggers a follow-up attack, there's a 100% base chance to increase the DOT received by the target by 30% for 2 turns. 2 is when Kafka's on the field, DOT dealt by allies increases by 25%. This is going to be very helpful for future DOT allies. So when you hit the enemy, you just do more damage to your DOT. Pretty nice stuff, not gonna lie. Of course, it is, 3 Kafka pulls, but going forward when Kafka comes back, if you really like a DOT character, that'll be pretty nice. And then skill 3 is just your basic skill, basic attack up. 4 is when an enemy target takes damage from the shock status inflicted by Kafka. Kafka regenerates 2 energy. Pretty much just makes her super energy efficient. 5 is ultimate talent up, and 6 is damage multiplier for shock damage dealt by ultimate technique and follow-up attack triggered by a talent increases by 156% and extends the duration of shock the enemy target by 1 turn. I think the best ones for her are going to be 2 if you're running a pure DOT team, and then when more DOT 5-stars come out in the future, 2 will be really good. And I think 1 is probably just like the safest bet, because 4 is nice, but it's just 2 energy, and 6 is you'd have to whale for that. So I think 1 will probably be your best bet for most people who just want to use Kafka as like a DPS, because it just increases DOT received. And then 2 is really like, it's useful because you want to run DOT characters with Kafka, but for now it's really just Luca, Sampo, and Serval. So Kafka's kind of her own DPS in a sense, instead of really supporting them. Not saying you can't make them be the DPS. Kafka would be like a supporting DOT character, but until like a totally cracked DOT unit comes out, I don't think 2 is going to be totally like, oh, you should definitely get it if you're getting Kafka. I think 1 is just fine. I'm sure she's also fine with no dupes at all. It's nothing too crazy. Nothing like, how Blade reduces how many number it takes before your counter goes off. Nothing crazy like that. But other than that, that's pretty much Kafka. We do have Luca, but honestly, I'm not too sure how crazy he is. I'm kind of like having a hard time getting a good gist on him, because his whole thing is he has he's kind of like, oh my god, I'm forgetting her name. He has an enhanced basic, and then he also has what is it called, fighting wills, if you know that from some of the universe. He has a lot going on for him. I'm not too sure. Once I pull him, I'll probably mess around with him a little bit better, but you probably shouldn't be summoning for a 4-star anyway on a banner, because if you pull a 5-star that you don't want, that'd be pretty bad. And Luca's pretty DOT based, so you're probably going to be running him with Kafka if anything. If not, you're probably not going to be running him at all. He doesn't seem too crazy, but I'll have a video on him later once I get more of a gist of him, because he kind of has a whole lot going on for him. But other than that, should you summon for Kafka? If you like DOT or DOT characters, or you have like Sampo, Serval, you want to build Luca, I'd say go for it, right? If you don't like DOT and you don't have any of those characters built, definitely don't go for Kafka. She's not going to be anywhere near as useful for you as you think. Do note that the next banners are Danheng. He is imaginary destruction. He looks pretty okay from what I've seen. And then Fuzhuan looks pretty good. She is a preservation quantum character. And then after that, we'll have to see what comes out next. Wink wink. A character I really like is coming out from what I've seen. But other than that, she's pretty much just a DOT attacker. Let me know in the comments if you are going to be summoning for Kafka. I will have a summoning video. I'm going for her and her light cone. I really like DOT. I really like Sampo when I first started the game, and then I kind of shied away from him for a little bit to focus on other characters. And now with Kafka being DOT based, I really like Kafka's character. We're bringing it back, so I'll have a summoning video for her and her light cone, and probably have a showcase and all that good stuff. So don't forget to subscribe, and of course, like I said, let me know in the comments if you're summoning or not, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.